Toronto Blue Jays have made multiple moves once again, and as we inch closer and closer to opening day, they have this time made a signing that is flying under the radar that no one's talking about, and it is surrounding a designated hitter that has put up some crazy numbers in the past. We're going to break down exactly who the Jays signed and discuss what it means going forward, but not only that, we do have some more updates surrounding the Jays rotation, Max Scherzer, and a story that has emerged surrounding Max Scherzer as it pertains to Trey Savage, the playoffs, and more that has fans excited for baseball to be returning. And we are now just a few weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to make sure to hit the subscribe button. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end of this video because no one's really talking about these signings. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I love covering these little signings because little or big, a lot of these guys ultimately may or may not make, the Jays team, but they all have stories. But I love covering them because there's a real world that a lot of these players that they have signing under the radar, international free agents, all these guys, eventually are going to make some sort of MLB debut, and I like to cover it here. But this one's very notable. You can see hours before the start of the World Baseball Classic, the first player from a tournament roster has already signed. So we can see now this player who's going to be playing for Team Italy has signed with the Blue Jays. And it is catcher, now I say DH, it's catcher/DH, Giaconino Lasaracina. I'm going to rock that and hope it's right. He is on Italy's roster, and he has signed with the Jays. Now, if you were like me, you might be asking yourself, who is this? Because I didn't know really beforehand. Now, I did a ton of research on it, and by a ton of research, it kind of revealed some interesting things. Now, you could see this here. He split time defensively behind the plate and in right field during the 2025 European Baseball Classic. The three-hole hitter went 4 for 16 with 2 doubles, 2 walks, and 2 RBIs. And during his past 4 seasons playing in Italy and a couple other teams, he has produced massive, massive numbers. 1,000 OPS. Now, obviously, it's hard to kind of gauge what stats a lot of these guys, have been playing. Now, this one has him as a DH. He's a catcher/DH. No one really falls into their positions until later on. But again, you can call him a DH, you can call him a right fielder, you can call him a catcher. He's a catcher/DH from what my research is saying. Folks, he hit for 1,000 OPS here. You can see here, the 22-year-old Italian DH stepped up in a big way recently at the 2025 Senior Elite European Baseball Championship in Rotterdam, and he put up and led claimed the Euro Home Run Hitter Award and topped all batters with 32. So led the tournament, I guess, with 32 total bases while being second in RBIs. And he has obviously signed to play in a bunch of different places. Now, the Jays have, of course, signed him as of the time of recording. This article is before the Jays signed him. Let's dive into his stats a little bit here. You can see, and obviously, I think this is the Italy League, and between a bunch of different teams. Only 20 years old. In 2024, put up at 1,000 OPS. The year before, 974 OPS. The year before, 1,000 OPS again. This guy's someone to watch out for. I mean, if he's a DH, that's very good. If he ends up being a catcher, that's even better, right? And it's someone that is an absolute stud up until this point. Now, of course, it's important to note that it's very hard with, pre-MLB, leagues outside of the MLB. It's kind of hard to find anything beyond surface level data. And some of these obscure leagues obviously have difficult, there's no public, at least, reporting of a baseball savant for, an Italian league or anything like that. But this is it's an exciting one because at the end of the day here, there's so many. He's just really good, or at least he's been really good up until this point. The Jays continue to add to their depth, and that is what the Jays have done really, really well. And whether or not you want to say it's an exciting signing, a sneaky signing, I know you guys give me a hard time for that sometimes. I love covering these players because you never know how good or ultimately bad they could be. And we get to see him at the World Baseball Classic, which is beginning now, today, I believe. So he's 22 years old, or it may have been yesterday night. I don't know the exact timing. Kind of depends on the time zones. But, well, obviously the time stays the same. You can see Francis Romero saying hours before the World Baseball Classic started. And this tweet is from last night. I love it. I'm excited for it. And he is officially signed with the Jays. So keep an eye out on him. He's somebody who has played pretty good recently. And again, he didn't play in the Italian League since 2024, but then in the 2025 Senior Elite European Baseball Championship Tournament, he did really, really good and being among leaders there. So that's pretty exciting stuff. But not only that, they've also signed Will Simonette, and he has signed a minor league contract with the Jays. He spent 2025 with the York Revolution in the Atlantic League. Hitting 286 with 17 home runs and 61 RBIs and won a Gold Glove. This is another one in the ABL, of course. He's now on the Jays with a minor league deal. They continue to stockpile the minor leagues. They continue to get guys, international signings. I find these super exciting because are they going to make big impacts this year for the Jays? No, right? Because the Jays have some depth there. But these are prospects where you start to see, again, we can see the Jays' top prospects now. Like a lot of these guys will start to soar up. and some of them you won't hear from. And then maybe we'll talk about this video, these signings next year at this time, and how, whoever it ends up being, whether that be Will Simonette or whether it be the catcher slash DH, of course, Giaconino La Saracina, a great name. They can, excuse me, a great name. They can, of course, then maybe he'll have a crazy year, and we'll be covering it again. But folks, let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Do these excite you as much as they excite me? I'm not saying it's going to be a groundbreaking signing, but I am saying it's pretty exciting. He has absolutely mashed the ball thus far between his leagues and seasons. But speaking of exciting things, this gets me excited for baseball again. And it was a story that came out surrounding Max Scherzer. You can see one day last season, I briefly covered this yesterday, but I wanted to go into the full quote. In the full article, Savage picked Scherzer's brain about whether he should start throwing a curveball again, and came away thinking Scherzer might know more about him than he knows about himself, as Scherzer launched into a discussion of precisely how a pitcher of Savage over-the-top delivery should grip a curveball. Want to guess how many of Savage's other teammates have ever talked about that, which was his index finger placement? None, just him. And this is what I'm talking about. I say it every video. I sound like a broken record. Max Scherzer is not only going to be available for opening day, is going to play a big part in the actual field, right, on the actual performance side of things. He is going to give so many pitchers, whether that be Trey Savage, whether that be beyond that, just an ability to unlock different things. I mean, he's been around so long. He's a top 5 pitcher in my lifetime, probably top 3. And he's such a good baseball mind that it's a no-brainer for them to sign him. But these stories are exciting because there's so much that goes into a baseball season that we don't talk about, we don't see until, of course, later on. That's a great story. Now, how's his game going to translate next year? That's yet to be seen, but he's going to be a crucial mentor. And let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that this Jays team, specifically regarding Trey Savage, is playing it slow. Max Scherzer can be there. He's done everything in the MLB, right? He's been limited innings. He's had injuries, all these different things. Max Scherzer specifically can be a mentor for Trey Savage, and he's been an absolute beast of a mentor. So I love this story. It's super exciting, and I'm excited for baseball to come back. We're in the kind of dog days of spring training. We're seeing some things happen. They had an off day yesterday. They play today. We're seeing some rotations get shifted around. I think we're going to see Eric Lauer today or tomorrow. It's going to be exciting, but I want to get through it, right? I want to get through it, get back to actual baseball where it's going to be hopefully the Jays battling for first in the AL East. And among the Jays, there's 5 of them who've been named in the top 100 players, including Vladdy, Kirk, C. Springer, and Gosman. So George Springer is still cracking the MLB's top 100 players according to ESPN. Of course, piggybacking off of a fantastic year last year. They should be able to go out there and win the AL East, right? I'm going to have a video probably tomorrow or the next day predicting the Jays, of course, opening day lineup and their lineup to start the season, the standings, all that good stuff. But as of right now, I have full faith in this team. Bo Bichette's gone. How will Kazuma Okamoto step up? There's so many intrigues.
Just when it feels as though the Toronto Blue Jays have finished their business for the spring, another quiet move appears from the shadows. This time it's the kind of signing that barely makes a ripple across the baseball world, yet sometimes those tiny ripples grow into tidal waves. As opening day edges closer and anticipation hums through the sport like electricity in the air, the Blue Jays have secured a fascinating new name, and today on the Bluejays Report we're diving into a story that many fans haven't even noticed yet. The player in question is the young Italian catcher and designated hitter Giacino Lasarina, a name that might not yet echo through major league stadiums, but one that carries an intriguing past. At just 22 years old, Lasarina has quietly built a reputation across European baseball for doing one thing exceptionally well: hitting the ball with authority. In recent seasons overseas, he's produced numbers that would make any scouting department pause and lean a little closer to the screen, including a remarkable OPS hovering around the 1,000 mark. In tournaments such as the European Baseball Championship, he didn't simply participate. He dominated, racking up extra base hits and leading hitters in total bases as if the ball itself had decided to obey him. Moments like this remind us why baseball is such a beautifully unpredictable game. Sometimes the biggest stories begin in the smallest corners of the sport. If you enjoy uncovering these hidden narratives, take a moment to like the video, share it with fellow fans, and subscribe to the Bluejays Report so you never miss the next chapter. Of course, Lasarina isn't the only quiet addition. The Blue Jays have also signed Will Simonette to a minor league deal after an impressive campaign in the Atlantic League, where he combined a strong batting line with a Gold Glove performance in the field. Moves like these may not dominate headlines today, but they build the organizational depth that championship teams rely upon tomorrow. And while new faces arrive, Another storyline is unfolding inside the clubhouse. Max Scherzer, one of the sharpest pitching minds of his generation, has already begun mentoring young arm Trey Yesovich, even dissecting the mechanics of his curveball with almost scientific precision. It's the sort of knowledge transfer that doesn't appear on a stat sheet, yet can shape an entire pitching staff. With spring training ticking down and the season nearly upon us, the Blue Jays feel like a team quietly assembling its pieces. Some moves are loud, others whisper in the background, but together they form the rhythm of a season about to begin. Stay with us here on the Blue Jays Report, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next unexpected story might already be waiting around the corner.